Well, hello guys, welcome back. Somebody asked me what is shaman sickness. Now there are a lot of different viewpoints of it, and it happens differently for everyone. And keep in mind that if an anthropologist were looking at me or anyone else who claims to have it, they would say, well, you just had some kind of psychological blah blah. But what it can be is it's like a call from the gods, and I've gone through it before when I was resisting the Wudong Loa, and I've gone through it before when like I was resisting coming over to magic. It's you will get really, really sick, and for everyone it differs. Some people have like I even looked up to make sure, am I remembering correctly, because it's been a while since I've seen somebody give a definition. But you can have anything from like what I have like vivid, terrible nightmares, and I don't want to sleep, and I can't sleep. And you start to be like, for me, I start to be really contrary in my energy. Like the gods I should be working with, I start to like hate them and become hostile and combative. And I withdraw from people, and then like everybody's an opponent, and I become like a very miserable person to be around, and I'm like very hostile and ragey. Not that I'm normally not an angry person, but it gets amplified. And I've been having vivid, terrible nightmares and tons of headaches, which is always a signal for me. And just like abdominal pains, and like feeling like I'm dying, and like feeling like each breath is my last. And it's not, you can tell it's something to not go to a doctor for, because it becomes, you can tell what it's coming from once you've had it before. It's like I knew it was from, I was resisting Freyr coming in. And when you're like resisting your gods, I don't want to say it's something they visit upon you. Anthropologists will say, oh, it's something they strike you down with. I think it's more that as you're struggling, you hurt yourself. You end up hurting yourself as you struggle, but if you would relax into it, and you usually don't want to because you're terrified, it wouldn't hurt so much. And Freyr wanted to come in. Freyr wanted to be with me, and I kept like finding every excuse, like in the past, why not to work with him, because like his people don't like Loki, and I just didn't think our energy would work well together, and I had all these excuses. And finally I was like, I lit a candle today, like just now, and like I lit the sage, that like whenever I'm having like some kind of anxiety attack or something, I will sage the house and like try to calm down the energy. And he's like, I'm the one that gave you this gift. I'm the one that gave you, like, if you want to call it being a shaman or a witch or whatever you call it, I'm the one that gave you these powers. This is my specialty. And he showed himself to me in a form that I've seen him in before. And I was always trying to see him in a form to make him happy, what I thought he should look like as a Norse god, and it was not working out. And we can work with that form, but this was the form that really relaxes me, that I'm like, okay, I can do this, I can work with this. And I don't want to mention the form because I am sick and tired of people fighting over that can't be this god because they don't look like I see them. And I'm like, just shut up before I punch people. I might be working with a god of healing, but that doesn't mean I won't still hit you. So it's like, yeah, I'm like the angry doctor. It'd be like throwing my patients out the window on the 20th floor. Won't take your medicine, will you? Boom! So we're gonna go into a period of healing. I was a shaman type healer, a powwow type healer for both of my parents as they were going through cancer, and for my dad, I was doing it for a decade. And for my mom, by the time my mom got sick, I was burnt out as a healer. I had absolutely nothing. I did all I could for her, but those made me sicker as well, because shamans can often, if you want to use that term, or healers, or whatever you're comfortable with, can often, if you're not careful, you can kill yourself doing it, because you will just totally drain yourself. And you can feel how much it takes out of you to do it. So, I had to really rely on the gods for my mom, but I knew it was my mom's time, because when she went, she went fast. And all I could do was make sure, you know, try to make sure she wasn't suffering. And now it's like my turn to heal myself, because I was doing all this healing for all these other people, and I've always had chronic health issues. So yeah, I know it sounds ironic. Oh, she has chronic health issues, and look at her. Look at her bad eyesight and everything that's wrong with her, tremors and everything. She can't possibly, you know, belong to Freyr. Actually, in shamanism, it's actually considered, you know, in more, you know, societies more connected to the old ways. Something wrong with you is usually a sign you are a shaman or a healer or a witch. Normal, healthy body people usually need not apply. I know now in Hollywood and in our books and everything else, it's shown differently, but that's kind of why, like, the Rick Rodian, I think I got his last name right, series for like the Greek gods and everything, because these kids usually have something that shows that they're different. They have like ADD, or they can't pay attention, or anything else. Because I've never been diagnosed, but I know I'm ADD, because I will, like, if I'm not in a mood and I can't center myself to listen, like, I put on a VR today, and I was like everywhere, looking everywhere. I could not take like 2 minutes of an introduction, like 2 freaking minutes, and I'm like, yeah, can you like shut up? You're saying words, I know you are, but can you shut up? I know this is really important, but I don't care, you're agitating me. So I knew, you know, it was really working up, and we did Mesa Verde VR, and I was having trouble connecting to him. I was like, I can't do this anymore, because that's how I get. And, you know, I think it was Set that actually came in, Set or Quetzalcoatl, and, you know, because Serpent-Headed God showed up, and I got an idea it wasn't anybody from Mesa Verde area, because remember, we're in VR, I didn't get to travel to Mesa Verde. Oh my god, I would stay there forever. And he was like, why aren't you working with Freyr? And I'm like, and he's like, that's not good enough. This is your calling, because we were in the Kiva, in like the holy pit where they would have done the underground things, and done all the healing in that, and just kind of like standing there. And even though you're only seeing an image, you're not in the place, you could really feel something. And you could feel something sacred all around you, because they pointed out to the Pueblo people there was no distinction between mundane and spiritual as we have. They didn't need like a church or a grove or a circle or anything else. Everything was sacred. Everything was sacred. And it was like it resonated, because we're supposed to feel that, but a lot of times we tend to draw that Western difference of this is sacred because I say it's sacred, and everything else isn't sacred, and everything is sacred, which makes you wonder why we're treating the planet like we are, but, you know, that's a good question. And, you know, as soon as I surrendered today, and I said, okay, I will work with you. I will do all that I can to serve you, but I don't know how it's working out. Because I told Freyr, I said, you know my personality. I will start out with the very best of intentions, and then I'll just like collapse into a pile and we'll go on. So we are trying to work together. And Loki's been pretty adamant about it. He's like, you are going to work together. You have to learn how to get along with him and work with him. And it's a case of, why did he wait all my life to work with me? Because I wasn't ready. I was, you know, you have to reach a certain level of maturity to work with certain gods. And for everyone, every god's at a different level of maturity. Some people might have got Freyr at the very beginning and always worked with him, and not get someone else till like the end of their... You never end your spiritual journey, but much further in. And for me, Freyr is one of those gods that I've picked up much later, because even though we had worked together here and there informally in the past, and he'd been the god I was praying to, I do have a lot to work through. Not Freyr, he's fine. The god's usually not the problem. It's usually the mortal. And the mortal is like, here's all my baggage. May we unpack it? And the god's like, okay, we can unpack your baggage, but you know, you could really just like throw that over the side of a cliff because you don't need it anymore. So yeah, we're trying. I was telling someone I really did not think I was going to get along with Freyr, but I could tell that like the shaman sickness thing was going to just totally blows up, and I was going to, you know, really be bad. And I think my depression is at least partially related to that, because you have gods that if you don't have them in your life and you're resisting them, then you throw your self-worth and you throw like your well-being and everything out of whack. And even though it feels odd for me to work with Freyr, just because of all the bad press a lot of the people who work with him give Loki and Freyr and Hel and you know all the rest, I can't hold against a god emotional time. I can't hold against a god the bad behavior of his people. I mean, I don't think those Westboro crazies even met Jesus ever. So if I don't hold Jesus accountable for them, I can't hold Freyr, you know, responsible for a lot of people with right-wing ideology. It's just, it's unfortunate and it's sad that people will drag their gods around and wave them like a banner and say, because I serve this god, I get to be intolerant and racist and bigoted. But, you know, that's just the reality we live in. So I'm just going to ignore stuff. I'm going to totally stop research on Freyr, which makes me uncomfortable because I keep thinking if I keep digging, I will find some decent, rational people. But unfortunately, so far, all I've found is Loki bad, Loki bad, Loki bad, Freyr greatest thing ever, Loki bad. And it's been something, but, you know, it might be to my advantage because hopefully those people won't be over here bothering us. So, you know, it is what it is. You get challenges in your life, and my spiritual challenge now is to work with Freyr and to welcome him in and to find a group we can work in. And this doesn't mean Loki goes away or disappears, but it does feel like he's going into the background a little so that I will at least, you know, see if I can make it 24 hours and then see where we go from there. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe. I am happy to have Freyr here. I am. I don't believe in, like, forcing any of the gods out, even if you can't stand them. I feel, you know, they're gods. Even if you hate each other, you know, if they come to you for help, you should still help them because they're gods. And I really don't hate any of the gods. It's just sometimes you and the god are in the same room and you know your energies don't work well together, and there's usually a workaround, but you will have to be very adaptable and very, you know, willing to approach a problem in the way it has to be approached. And, you know, some gods you never make that connection, but with Freyr, it is going fairly well when I'm not resisting him. When I'm resisting him, I'm all, like, agitated and hyper and depressed and hysterical. But when I'm not, that's when the calmness and, you know, like, the kind of healing power comes through. That does not mean that, you know, 3 days from now I'm gonna be on here without glasses and a crystal clear complexion and, you know, huge beautiful hair and, like, every other thing in my body that's wrong with me, you know, cured. But it does mean that it can bring you back at least into spiritual balance. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you later. Bye bye.